Buying a home in 2024 can be an extremely exciting yet daunting process. Today, I want to show you guys the 5 steps I have learned to ensure a smooth home buying process. And by the end of today's video, you're going to be way more prepared to make the biggest financial purchase of your life. If this is your first time here, my name is Kura. I'm a real estate agent based in the beautiful Seattle area, and I typically do home tours here on my channel. So if that's your style, please feel free to subscribe. It helps my channel grow immensely. And today I want to be talking about these 5 tips towards making sure you guys have a smooth home buying process. The first part is going to be finances, and I broke these down into 3 main parts. You have savings and loans, you have income, and you have credit score. When I talk about savings, I'm talking primarily about your down payment, closing costs, or any of the fees associated with purchasing a home. The first thing we're going to see is down payment. Down payments can range anywhere from $0 to 20+% of the home purchase price. And even though down payment assistance programs are amazing, the more money you have saved up, the better you're going to be financially. So they're not great to rely on. You really want to rely on your savings to ensure that you are fully prepared for your home buying process. There are plenty of different loan types out there that fit your specific situation and needs, ranging from the FHA loan, the VA loan, conventional, and the USDA loan. If you guys want more information about this, comment below so I can do a separate video about this and inform you guys about all the different loan types and what they mean for your specific situation. And also ask an agent and your family or friends that have once bought a house about any loan officers they may have worked with in the past and liked, because you want to make sure you shop around for your loan to make sure you get the best interest rate possible for your situation. What you can actually do is take one rate that one loan officer gives to you and bring it to somebody else and see if they can compete or beat that rate for you to make sure that you get the best interest rate for your house. For today's example, we're going to say you're going with a 3% conventional loan. With that 3% conventional loan, it doesn't take into account the closing costs. With this, you're going to want to save up around 3% of the overall home purchase price. So overall, you'd really want to save up about 6 to 8% of the total home purchase price in your savings prior to buying the home to ensure that you can really cover all the closing costs and your down payment or any other fees that pop up during your home search. Moving down to income over here, you're going to want to prove that you have been gainfully employed for the last 2 years, like I mentioned before. But let me elaborate on that a little bit more, because you're going to want to see no large gaps in your work history within those 2 years. You're going to want to see a steady hourly rate or a steady salary. And like I said, 2 years of college or trade school or anything like that can count towards that work requirement as well. Going down to the last bit of finances here would be your credit score. Your credit score plays a huge role in factoring whether or not you get a competitive rate for your home. The minimum credit score you're going to want when purchasing a home will be around that 580 range. This is where you see loans at the FHA loan bottom out, and the next tier will be around the 620 range. This is a pretty good credit score to have when buying a home. It will get you pretty competitive interest rates, but if you want the top and the most competitive interest rates out there, you're gonna want around a 740 or above when purchasing a home. That will ensure very good interest rates and a lower monthly payment overall in the purchase. Now, talking about your credit score, when you apply to a loan, you first get around a 5-point ding mark on your credit score for that hard inquiry pool. But something a lot of people do not know is that within a 45-day window, you have time to shop around and get as much hard inquiry pools as possible and have it not affect your credit score, so that you can go ahead and find the most competitive interest rate for your new home without taking any more dings on your credit score. All right, now going into step 2, which is where I come in. This is where you find an agent. Finding a good agent is very important when purchasing your first home. Typically, it's not advised to go to the seller and work with them, because the seller already has their own clients and their own fiduciary duties they have to provide to that client. So if you work with them, there's typically going to be a conflict of interest between the buyer and the seller. And so this is when you find a good buyer's agent to help negotiate your deals on your behalf. It is important to find an agent that knows your specific market and that can tailor to your specific needs. There are a lot of agents out there. Some can be very busy and may not have time for you, and some may not know your market as well as the next agent will. And so make sure you interview many agents to find the perfect fit for you. Typically, buyer's agent will come at no cost for you as the buyer. What happens is that the seller will typically pay both the seller's agent and the buyer's agent the commission on the home when the seller's agent and the seller have agreed to that commission price when they are first putting the home on the market. There are going to be a couple of circumstances that are going to be a little bit different. For instance, for sale by owner listings, sometimes may not pay that commission to your buyer's agent. So you as the buyer may have to provide that commission, but that only comes up really with for sale by owner listings or anything like that. Typically a home found on the MLS or being sold by another agent will have the sellers handle that commission and not the buyers. What you may be asked to do as well is to sign a buyer's agency agreement. Don't be alarmed, as this is to protect you as the buyer and me as the agent. This form will outline all the duties I am going to perform for you, and it also has a timeline to outline that I'm not going to go anywhere and you're not going to go anywhere during this process, and we're going to find you your dream home. And if you are still looking for an agent here in the Seattle area, I'll leave my email down over here for you guys to see. I love working with everyone in all price ranges, and I love to sit down and talk to you and discuss what your needs are and your time frame. The next step after you find an agent will be house hunting. Now, before you step foot into any home, it's important to make a want versus a needs list, so that whenever you do tour a property, you know what you need in that property versus what you want, guiding your home search being a little bit more clear. It will also help the agent as well pinpoint the exact properties that they need to show you to ensure that you're not seeing too many homes and getting too confused in the process. And trust me when I say this list is going to save your life during the home search process, because you can always refer back to it when looking at a home to determine, is this a home that you want or is this a home that you need, which can shape a lot of decisions and guide you towards the right choice. And if you followed all the previous steps in this video, like getting pre-approved, getting your credit score and your finances in order, you won't have to look at too many homes before you find the right one, since you've been so prepared for your home search. So you got your finances in order, you found an agent, you went house hunting, and now it's time to make an offer. When making an offer, time is of the essence. Not all markets are like this, but over here in Seattle, this is a very hot market. So when you see a home, that same day that home can be off the market just like that. So it's important with that wants and needs list to guide you towards your right home, so that when you see it, you are ready to make an offer. Now, when you make that offer on this home, there are three things that the seller's agent can do. They can either accept your offer, decline your offer, or offer a counter offer. When they accept the offer, everything's pretty simple. You deliver the terms to them, they read it over, they accept, and then you guys move into pending. When they decline the offer, that is when the seller's agent looks at the material and decides that there's probably a better offer on the table. And lastly, they can counter the offer. When they counter the offer, this can mean that they did like a couple of things within the offer, but they do want to tweak this and tweak that. And don't worry, as the buyer and the buyer's agent, you can always provide another counter offer towards that as well. Yes, so we got our offer accepted. Now we can move on to step 3. The first part of step 3 would be to get the home inspection done. Home inspections can range between $400 to $600 total dollars, and is due on the date of the inspection. What the inspector is going to do is that they're going to go throughout the home, go through every single nook and cranny within it, and try to find issues within the home and give you a report card of the overall property health. Now, don't be worried if the inspection is a little bit lengthy. These people are hired to find problems with the home. They know the code of the local area and of the state, and will go throughout the whole home trying to find issues so that they can report it back to you so that you can be made aware of all of those issues. It's important to note that inspectors are paid to find issues within the home, but not paid to fix them. So let's say you find something wrong with the HVAC or the roof. It's important from right then and there to call a specialist to ensure that you can get that roof or HVAC system fixed and up and running before closing date. It varies within different markets, but here in Seattle, the inspection contingency period is 10 days after mutual acceptance of the deal. During these 10 days, it's going to be a great idea to run other tests like lead, air quality, or radon tests to ensure that the home you're purchasing is good to go when you move in. Now, unless the home was negotiated as an as-is purchase, what we can do with that report card is that we can provide it to the seller and the seller's agent and ask them to fix some of the issues with the home. Anything that's not working is a really good item to put on that list that you'd want to be fixed. Now, just like before when you were submitting an offer, the seller has three options. They can either accept your repairs, reject your repairs, but don't worry, most sellers are very reasonable, and when the home does need repairs, they will be more than willing to repair the home, or they can counter offer. So what a counter can maybe look like is that they'll say yes to A and B, but not C, in which you see if you can agree upon terms about the home repair, and after that, you can move forward with your purchase. This is also an amazing time to look at the insurance you're going to need for your home. Most lenders will require that you do have insurance on your home, so it's a good time to look at things like fire, flood, earthquake insurance, anything that your home may need, because sometimes special homes need special insurance, so make sure you check with your agent with that. Now you've gone through 4 steps, and the final step before you get your keys in your hands will be the appraisal and closing. Now, to be honest, the appraisal is really there to protect the bank and not you. What the bank would do is they'll send over an appraiser to the property. The appraiser will go through the property and give the bank a value number of what they think the property is valued at. This is here to protect the bank because the bank is not going to give you more money than what the appraiser says the home is worth. As a running theme, there's 3 ways this appraisal can come back. This appraisal can come back at the sales price, which will ensure a nice smooth road towards your closing. It can also come back higher than your sales price, which is really good for you as a buyer because you can now talk to your lender and possibly get more assistance with your down payment and plenty more other benefits that come along with that. And the appraisal can also appraise below the value of the home, which will prompt some more negotiating between you and the seller. But don't worry, most sellers are very reasonable and they'll be willing to come down towards that appraisal price to ensure that the home sells for their clients and for you as well. Just like the inspector, the appraiser can come back to the bank with repair requests. These typically do happen with VA and FHA loans since these requirements for living conditions are very strict within the state of Washington and all around the nation. And so you see that more often with those types of loans, but just keep that in mind because if the appraiser does come back to the bank with repairs, those repairs would need to be complete the day of closing. If those repairs are not complete, the bank may not give you the money for the loan, so it is very important that you pay attention to that and make sure all repairs are done prior to closing. The next part of this would be your walkthrough. Your walkthrough is typically done 1 to 2 days before closing. This is a very good time to ensure all repairs have been made on your property. And a good way to do that is to check with the seller's agent. You can request receipts from the seller's agent for all the repairs that you asked for from either the appraisal or from the inspection. And it's good to have your agent ask for the receipts prior to those repairs being done so that it's easy to have them on hand and that no one is surprised when we ask for the receipts. You can also have an inspector come back to the property for a discounted price to ensure all those repairs have been done on the property. If everything's looking good and everything is repaired, you get your clear to close from your lender or your closing disclosure form, which will highlight the loan amount, interest rate, and your cash to close. As a buyer, it's really important to look over that closing disclosure form and especially the cash to close figure because that's the cash you're going to need to bring on closing date in order to receive those keys in your hand. And no, it does not mean bring a whole briefcase full of cash. You would not be allowed in the home and you'll not be able to close on that date. You can either wire the money on that date or prior to that date, or you can bring a cashier's check to closing to ensure that you can get your keys on that date. It is very important to bring your ID, anyone that's listed on the loan or on the title of the house, and to bring yourself. You can have a couple of people there with you, like the lender and your agent, and it's very important to ask them questions during this period because this would be one of the final times to get all your questions asked by all these people. Closing would typically take around 30 minutes to an hour, so block out that time. And then after that period, and after you hand over the cash, you get the keys in your hand and you get to move in to your first home. Okay, now bonus step time. Make sure to give yourself 3 to 6 months of both preparation and look time to ensure that you have no time constraints. Nothing is worse than being on a big time constraint, being super stressed out, missing some chances on the homes that you've been seeing in the area, and having an overall bad experience buying your first property. So make sure you give yourself ample time, your finances are in order, you find a good real estate agent, you knock down your house hunting, you get the inspections done, the appraisal, and you close on the property the way that you want to, stress-free. And that will complete all 5 steps today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I hope you feel a whole lot more prepared to buy your first home and to make the biggest financial purchase of your life. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please feel free to subscribe. It helps my channel grow immensely. And like I said, I mainly do home tours on this channel, but I'm going to branch out to educate you guys about the home buying process. So if that interests you, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll make sure to see you guys in the next video. And make sure you check out this home tour right over here. It's pretty fun.